At this time, it's my honor to introduce to you the Leitner family. So this is Melanie Leitner, and then her daughter, Ella Kate, and then Sherry Leitner, I think that I've got that right, is Nana. Sandy, I'm sorry about that. Sandy Leitner is Nana. She's got the shirt on, if any of y'all missed that. And so Ella Kate was the recipient of a heart transplant just this year. And her mom, Melanie, is here to be able to share a little bit of their story with us. And I told her we're all friends here, and I told her that the pressure is very low, so treat her like a friend, and she won't be nervous, and we'll have a great day. Thank y'all.
My name is Melanie, and I want to thank you all for inviting us here to share Ella Kate's journey with you today. I've always been an organ donor since I had the choice to make years ago when I got my driver's license. But I never truly understood what that decision meant until the day I was told that my daughter would need a heart transplant. If it wasn't for her organ donor, I know that our story would have a different ending today. My daughter, Ella Kate, was born on March 4th, 2016, after a healthy pregnancy. We had no idea she was going to be sick. When she came out, she was the color of this floor almost. She was super gray and didn't breathe for about 8 minutes. I thought then that those were the longest 8 minutes of my life. Little did I know the journey that we were about to embark on. That evening of Ella Kate's birthday, her oxygen level dropped extremely low, and she was airlifted from Mooresville down to Living Children's Hospital in Charlotte. The very next day, the doctors found a large mass in her lower left ventricle of her heart that took up over 80%. They told us in those moments that there was no chance of survival. We needed to prepare for the worst and embrace every moment we had with her. We were in complete shock, but we took advantage of every moment God gave us with our baby. She was a strong fighter from day one. With no medical explanation as to why, she was able to push through and survive those first few weeks. After weeks and months in the hospital of what seemed like an endless roller coaster ride of a couple good days and then some very, very bad ones, lots of medical treatments, most were experimental because we didn't know what this mass was in her heart. With the location of it, there was no way that they could do a biopsy to see what it was. So we tried everything we could to shrink it. Nothing helped. But Ella Kate was getting stronger and stronger. So the time came that there was really nothing else the hospital could do for us, and they said, take her home. Okay, sure, I'll take a baby home who has a mass in her heart, and we really have no idea what to do about it. We'll just watch her very closely and make sure that she stays as strong as possible. So after 2.5 months down at Living Children's, they let us come home. And at 6 months, we went and did another MRI of her then walnut-sized heart. They realized that the mass in her heart had not changed, and her body was deteriorating before our eyes. That's when I was told, sitting in the doctor's office with my parents and my husband, that the only option for survival was a heart transplant. Those words were very scary for a mother to hear, but it was the first time we had ever been given any medical hope for a future for our girl. She's watching the Muppets. Our waiting process began in November. She was placed on the transplant list. The anxiety of waiting for your child to get the call that a new heart is ready is like no other. We thankfully only had to wait for 2 short months, and we were able to wait at home. Like I said before, there was really nothing that the hospital could do for Ella, so they let us just stay at home while they monitored her. In January, after those 2 months on the transplant list, Ella Kate was starting to get very, very sick again. She was turning very gray for most of the day. She didn't eat anything by mouth, was taking everything through her G-tube, and was vomiting most of that back up. She was having trouble to breathe, making wet gasping sounds almost all day long. When she would sit up to play, like the typical 10-month-old, it would only last about 5 minutes, and then she needed to lay back down again. We continued to watch her closely, but we knew what was happening. We never gave up on her, and we continued to pray nonstop for a miracle from God. On Sunday morning, January 29th, 2017, we went to church like every other week. But that day was a little bit different. Everyone there could see how sick she was getting. So our pastor stopped the service during a song. They laid hands on our girl, and they prayed over her. On the way home from church that day, my phone rang, and it was the call that changed our lives forever. The cardiology team called, and they said, "We have the perfect heart coming for Ella Kate. Grab your bags and head to Charlotte." The range of emotions I felt in a matter of minutes. First, I knew that this was the way that my daughter was going to get to live a healthy life. I was excited. I was ready. I was so ready for her not to have to suffer anymore, and joyous. Thinking of the surgery that she was about to face that night was absolutely terrifying. And then came the emotion that was like a swift punch to the gut. It literally took my breath away. As a transplant mom, you try hard not to think about the family who's on the other side of your story. We were very close to that in different moments without Ella Kate. I've signed a DNR for her. Praise God, we got to take it back. We never had to use it. I know just a little glimpse of that pain, so I think it made it just a little more real for me. I couldn't imagine the feelings that our donor family were going through in that moment, that they were able to take the darkest moment of their life and make the decision to save my little girl's life. I will never be able to say thank you for that. I just began praying for comfort for that family. And on the way to the hospital that afternoon, I promised myself that when I hold Ella Kate, I will hold on just a little bit longer and squeeze just a little bit tighter, because I'm holding their angel baby too. Ella Kate's surgery started at 9 p.m. on January 29th. Boy, that was a long night. At 6:30 the next morning, the doctors came in and said the surgery was a success. She was strong and stable. Stable was a word we had never heard describing our baby before. Just hours after her transplant, when we got to go back in and see her, she was hooked to all kinds of machines, all kinds of medicines. We were wearing gowns and masks and everything. But she looked so much better already. Her color was peachy, she was pink, her heart rate was normal. I had never seen a normal rhythm. Within days, she was sitting up for hours on end, eating by mouth, and laughing and giggling and snoring. I remember running out to the nurse's station and saying, "She's making a weird noise, she's making a weird noise." And they came in and they were like, "She's breathing. That's how babies breathe. You're okay." She is thriving today like any other 2-year-old girl. I will never be able to say thank you enough to the family who saved Ella Kate's life, and in turn saved mine too. I thank God every day for them and the choice that they made to donate life and save my girl. I pray that anyone who hears our miraculous story will choose to be an organ donor, and remember to never give up, because she's living proof that miracles happen. Thank you.
I'm just here to share a little bit about specifically what the flag raising ceremony, how that has transpired. It began as an idea by one donation and one transplant professional in 2009. The concept is to make a very visible and unified statement about the importance of donation and the need for donors. This national concept is known as Flags Across America, a Donate Life America initiative, which honors donors and celebrates the hundreds of thousands of donors and recipients whose lives have been affected by organ, eye, and tissue donation. It rallies together all donor hospitals, transplant centers, donor organizations, and various businesses in collectively flying the Donate Life flag during the month of April, which is always National Donate Life Month. Our hope is that it will make people stop and take notice and question donation and think about their role in donation and transplantation and registering. Today, Blue Ridge joins the Flags Across America celebration, and in just a moment, we will proudly raise our flag as we honor our local donors and recipients. As the daughter of a transplant recipient and an employee of LifeShare of the Carolinas, I have a unique insight into both sides of the spectrum. The impact that donation has had on my personal life has sparked a passion within me that has projected me into this career of serving donor families, hospital staff, and educating the general community about donation and transplantation. I have firsthand experience in tension and joy and heartbreak that both the donor family and a recipient feel, either when they decide to donate their loved one's organs or when they receive that life-saving call at their new chance of life. New hope is given to recipients and to their families, and the legacies of donors live on through these recipients. Today, I celebrate and remember my mother's donor, Ella Kate's donor, Sharon's donor, Wanda's donor, as well as the many other donors and recipients from our community here. The 2008 Cloudy Day and Rainbow Theme for Donate Life Month was inspired by the Maya Angelou quote, "Be a rainbow in someone else's cloud." May we all hear these words, embody them, and may these words, as well as the lives of donors, inspire our own acts of compassion and kindness as we journey through this life together. Thank you.
We're going to ask if Melanie and Ella Kate and Nana will go and raise the flag. The rest of us are going to stay right here, and then we'll be able to see the flag go up, and when they come back in, we'll be able to have some fellowship and some good snacks.
Watch for your plate.